Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. So tonight, let's talk about this controversial video that leaked out. This was from 2021, and it has to do with Bitcoin and that famous crypto that was released today, WorldCoin. So let's talk about the connection there and also some of the controversial things that have been said about WorldCoin. So let's do this. Welcome. Well, as for Bitcoin, it's a little bit lower than this morning. And why is it lower? Well, I did speculate this morning. A couple reasons why Bitcoin went down today. But what's a surprise is today the U.S. market actually did pretty well. Mostly, I mean, not pretty well, but it was just so-so, right? But the U.S. market was actually in the green, but Bitcoin was down. Why is that? Well, there was a couple things. Number one, there was a big liquidation this morning, over 100 million, so that definitely had something to do with it. Number two is, yes, we are going to get another FOMC meeting, which is coming up in a couple of days. It's 99.6% chance that in the U.S. we will get another rate hike, okay? So that's going to bring us to 5.25%. Now, that's baked in, but people are fearful about what Powell's going to say about the next FOMC meeting, which is coming in September. So we have 2 months before this next FOMC meeting, right? So traditionally speaking, before any kind of FOMC meeting, Bitcoin does tend to have some weakness, some volatility. So I think that also had something to do with it. But there's also, I think there's something going on also with WorldCoin, because today was the WorldCoin release and so many exchanges opened up. It pumped up a lot. That I think had something to do with it, right? But yeah, so overall today is definitely one of those good DCA days, right? Good day to be loading up on Bitcoin and your favorite crypto because, of course, that's the best time to do it when things are down. Right? But yeah, it's just a little down today, some weakness, but overall, most of the alts still held on to their gains for the past week or so, right? But we will see what happens later this week with the FOMC meeting. Now, of course, this is all just near term. Long term, we know Bitcoin is not affected by any of this, okay? Bitcoin does not care. Bitcoin, the only thing it cares about is the halving event. I don't know if that's the only thing Bitcoin cares about, but that is what long-term holders care about. And we are only 40,000 blocks away from the next halving event. 800,000 blocks have been mined. 40,000 away from the next halving event. And we know what happens after the halving event. Every single time we start going up rapidly in a parabolic rise upwards, right? So we're not too far off from there. And also, speaking of Bitcoin and the network, right? The hash rate continues to go higher and higher and higher. Look at that. It's just going up astronomically now. Difficulty continues to go up, right? And that is why the halving event is so important, because there is a race. There's a race to mine every single Bitcoin there is. And it's getting more and more difficult to do so. Okay? It takes an enormous amount of processing power and money to be able to mine a single Bitcoin, right? It's only going to get harder. That's why over time, the scarcity factor plays into it. And the halving event makes finding Bitcoins even harder every 4 years. So scarcity is definitely a thing and will continue forward, okay? Forever being a thing for Bitcoin as demand continues to go up. And demand, if it keeps doing this, supply keeps doing this, demand keeps doing this, then you know what's going to happen in price, right? So that's why Bitcoin does not care. Long term, it will continue forward and upwards like it always has. But short term, you know, there's some volatility because of maybe the Fed and maybe because of, no, not that. No. Before I get into WorldCoin, there's a couple other things. Long-term holders. Long-term holders also, it's interesting because you look at 2015, all long-term holders was around the same point, right, as now. And that was when Bitcoin was at like $100. So think about that, right? Long-term holders have gone up and down because of retail, new retail investors, short-term people coming in, right? But overall, whenever you have long-term holders, I guess that percentage rising, that's usually a bottom point, right? So right now, right around $30,000, we have the same number of holders, which is, again, proving that we are breaking into the next bull run and very good things will be coming, right? So that's the last thing I want to say. Now, this video started circulating, okay? So I said I was going to talk about WorldCoin, so by Sam Altman. But you know what? They released some kind of shady marketing video back in the day in 2021. And, you know, this orb, this controversial orb. You know, the funny thing is about this project, it's supposed to be against AI. It's like humans versus AI. That's how it's kind of like marketed. Yet they're using a very sophisticated orb that's kind of like an AI robot, so to speak. So that, if you think about it, the irony of that is kind of, you know, it's just kind of there, right? But, you know, listen to this video real quick. Let me play it for you guys. So I don't think this is something that Bitcoin holders want to hear at all, but let me play it.
Opportunity to tell them why WorldCoin can be even better than Bitcoin. And the reason for that is as follows. Bitcoin only has a few amount of people holding it. So even though it's very valuable, it can't be used every day because, well, quite frankly, it's just in the hands of a very few rich people. However, the reason why WorldCoin will be better than Bitcoin is because we aim to give it to every single person in the world. So that way we can actually use it and get the benefits together. Number 4, what the orb does.
What he just described is basically what every alt have said besides Bitcoin. Like, oh, Bitcoin is not very usable. It's only being held by a few. Then that's simply not true. Bitcoin is divisible. That's why you get fractional Bitcoin. You could get sats. You could get individual sats, right? And with the use of, with the help of, I should say, with Lightning Network and other L2s, it is very usable. It is very usable, and it's very spread. There's millions of addresses that's holding Bitcoin, right? So it's not just a few, though the people that got in early, of course, they are the ones that are billionaires today. But, you know, this whole concept of, okay, what he said, WorldCoin is better than Bitcoin, I think that's the wrong message, okay? Nothing competes with Bitcoin. Nothing. And again, this orb is quite controversial. Again, if you don't know what this project is all about, well, it's about scanning your biometrics, iris scan, fingerprints, and basically doing a complete full scan of yourself. You're doxing yourself, KYCing yourself, and going beyond that. And you're using this orb, this AI robot orb, which is supposed to be AI resistant, but it really is, if you think about it, like an AI robot that's collecting all this information so that you could get a world ID. And what do you do with that world ID? Well, you could use it for these dApps that WorldCoin are developing. Okay, so you have to trust them to hold all this information, and you have to trust them that they're not going to release all this information to the authorities. Okay, whenever maybe a country wants to, you know, get your iris scan, maybe they just reach out to WorldCoin, right? Like, who knows? And you're doing it because, number one, you get rewarded with some WorldCoin, as if that's a good enough incentive. And number two is you're doing it because you're bettering the humanity, right? You're joining a fight. In case AI somehow takes over and no one could tell who's AI and who's not, right? WorldCoin will be there to save the day. That's their message. Again, that's kind of like a weird dystopian kind of viewpoint if you think about it. And plus, you have to trust them to hold everything, right? Supposedly, it's going to be decentralized. Supposedly, this project is going to be, again, for betterment of mankind, right? But even Jack Dorsey said, at no time should a corporation or state own any part of the global financial system, and that is definitely something that they want to be part of. And he makes a lot of comments about WorldCoin. WorldCoin is an attempt at global scale alignment, cute, and then here's one, visit an orb, or the orb will visit you, because that's what it sounds like. It's like, it almost sounds like you're going to have to do this eventually, right? Like you're going to have no choice. Again, it seems like the orb is like some kind of powerful AI that wants to take over if you think about it. And also, a lot of people can't help but notice that Sam Altman sounds a lot like Sam Bankman, right? And here's the thing. SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, is actually an early investor of WorldCoin, right? Actually, one of the first ones. You see the first round, which gave him $1 billion in valuation, $25 million, came from SBF, A16, Coinbase, and Multicoin, right? Well, SBF was one of the early investors. So there is definitely a connection there. So I wonder, does that actually still go back to SBF? I don't know how that's going to be handled, but nevertheless, yes, SBF is part of the project. And also, Vitalik says the same thing. The same thing that I said, same thing I said this morning. It's like, can you really trust them? Can you really trust anyone at this point to run, this database that has everyone's biometrics in there, right? Like, can you really trust that? Again, I don't think so. I don't think so. So, bottom line is, I'm no fan of WorldCoin. I don't think anyone should be a fan of WorldCoin. And their token economics is really, really bad. This morning, I was looking at it, okay? Right now, their market cap is at $228 million, but if that's only because they only release 1% of the overall supply. If they released everything, it would already be at $21.4 billion. Okay? So don't let this fool you, this small market cap. It's only because they released 1%. 1% out of 100%, obviously, right? So they're already worth a ton. Early investors probably will be pulling out, right? But still, just because Sam Altman is the one of the founders of OpenAI and the president of Y Combinator, right? Don't let those things fool you, because this whole thing just sounds silly and also dangerous at the same time. And unfortunately, I think this was one of the reasons why Bitcoin also sold off today, because a lot of exchanges, first of all, listed it. So I think a lot of people FOMO'd in and probably converted Bitcoin and Ethereum and others to buy WorldCoin, which probably is a bad idea anyways, because after a hyped up project gets released, it always dumps, because the early investors, the ones that got into private rounds, they're going to want to pull out and make some money. So it's probably a bad time for that too. Anyways, just wanted to give you guys a little more information about WorldCoin. You got SBF connection. You got a lot of privacy concerns, security concerns, centralization concerns, a whole bunch. Okay. And I guess the last thing is Ethereum, right? Since I talked about Vitalik, Ethereum is continuing to do its thing, right? You got a new record with 52 billion worth of ETH now securing the network, which of course is awesome. It's a new high, right? And just like Bitcoin, you could just see, right, everything. The fundamental of Ethereum continues to go upwards and onwards, and it is deflationary, and everything is looking pretty darn good. So Ethereum is still doing very well. And someone like Fidelity is also bullish on Ethereum too. Not only is Fidelity is really bullish on a lot of things, but Ethereum is one of them. And basically, they believe that Ethereum, because of its upgrade, its move to proof of stake, and also because they are finding ways to scale and improve, and of course everything else, you know, all the token standards and NFTs and everything else that's on Ethereum. That's why they are bullish on Ethereum, right? It's good to be bullish on Ethereum, but not good to be bullish on WorldCoin. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see if I missed anything. There's something, you know, I love the show Black Mirror. I think a lot of you guys know of the show. It's a very futuristic sci-fi show that's on Netflix. It usually just showcases something going terribly wrong because of technology, right? This just sounds like it. Like this globe, this orb will be in every person's household, you know, scanning and reading and listening at all times. That's what it sounds like, you know. That's what it sounds like this is going to lead to, right? Like right now it's all fun and games until this thing is placed everywhere. Oleg says WorldCoin is 1.20. Could very well be. Imarez, thank you for that. Terribly wrong or according to plan? Well, maybe it is according to plan. Maybe. Thoughts on Twitter X Elon keeping Doge in his bio? I already mentioned that this morning. I think everyone believes that rebranding to X is a really bad idea. And Elon bought X in 2017. I was reading a little history about it. It actually was pointing to PayPal once upon a time. And then when he, you know, eventually left PayPal, he just retained the name. And then all of a sudden now he's calling Twitter X. I don't know. I think this it's good. Just go cause more confusion. It's not like Twitter is doing any better these days. So I don't know what this is going to do. When do you think the ETFs will be approved? I think probably before the next halving event. Probably first Q1 of 2024. And it would be absolutely fantastic because it'll be just a few months before the halving event. So let's go accelerate things, make it even better and faster. Do you think Bitcoin's going to go below 25K this week? No, I do not. And it's not going to happen. Did Skynet come up with WorldCoin? Sounds like Terminator to me. I mean, it really does. It really does. This sounds like beginning of the end, like what Skynet would be doing to gain people's trust somehow by coming up with the orb and getting people to scan themselves, and somehow that would be a good thing. Do I keep most of my money in crypto? Yes, almost all of it. What's up with the show that you did, the next crypto gem? It'll be coming out in a few months. It got delayed. It'll be coming out in a few months. You better DSay fast. XRP is taking off. Well, I have a small bag of XRP, but it's not really taking off right now. It's at 70 cents. It was as high as 84 recently, a few days ago, and I think it peaked around 92 cents. I think XRP will do better going forward, but right now it's cooling down, and that's okay. Today, Doge went up because of Elon's rebranding, and he kept a D in his profile or whatever. He just likes to troll people, thinking that some kind of Doge thing is going to happen, but it seems like it's not. Atom or Sol? That's a tough one. To be honest, I like Atom better. I like Cosmos better at this point. I think there's a lot more being built within Cosmos because it's a layer 0. There's a lot of L1s taking advantage of it and IBC, so I like Cosmos more. How often do you drive your F8? Very little. Maybe twice a month at most. 40, 50 miles at most. It's a regular insurance, regular. Actually, 6 months, it's like barely over my normal cars. So insurance is not a big thing. Rich is a combination, crypto and YouTube. Obviously, there are certain periods where YouTube is making me more, and certain periods crypto is making me more. So it's a combination of the two. How many cars do I have? I have 2, and my wife has 1, 3. That's it. I would have more if I had more garage space, which I don't. But in my new house, I will. So, but right now, it's just a horrible time to be buying cars, right? It's still hard to even find a regular Toyota on the lot. I mean, it's surprising that supply chain issues are over, yet some manufacturers still can't keep cars on a lot. Maybe it's on purpose now. I don't know. Yeah, there's still a lot of cars being sold over MSRP, which is ridiculous. Did I order a Cybertruck long ago? Do I still wear Crocs? Yes. How come you never mentioned about Exxon? I just talked about them like a day ago. I even put their logo on the thumbnail. So, are you excited about Litecoin's halving next month? No. No. Do I even pickleball? No. I don't know why everyone is so into pickleball all of a sudden. I have no idea. No idea. Anything new with Avalanche? No, other than there's more projects that want to come out subnets. There's not that many subnets, like a half dozen or so. There's more that wants to go into it. Avalanche is almost like a Cosmos. You know, they want to become like a layer 0 and have subnets, which is basically full chains within Avalanche. So they're just kind of working at that. I haven't heard anything new. What can you say about RAV4 as a first car purchase? It would be great as a first car purchase. Very reliable, very practical, plenty of utility, not very fast, doesn't look the greatest, but that doesn't matter, right? It's a first car. Do you remember which crypto YouTuber said, would you rather be rich or would you rather be right? Trying to remember. No. I don't. CRPT, good coin. I think you're trying to say or ask. I have no idea what CRPT is. Cryptarium? No. I'm just going to say no. Because someone tried to bring it up yesterday or a day before after it was pumping, so I'm just going to say no. Arweave. I still like Arweave. I don't know where it is now. 186 million. Has not really recovered that much. They're a storage backbone for a lot. A couple projects actually trying to go on Arweave. A couple that I talked to recently, surprisingly. Also, there's still the storage backbone of Solana, so that's a major differentiator. So I still like Arweave. It's kind of boring because it's in storage, right? But it's still good. I'll have a Honda until I'm a millionaire. Nothing wrong with Hondas. Even today. I mean, the new Pilot, by the way, is awesome SUV. Really, really good. Really good. Nice driving. It's a big upgrade. Plenty of size. I love the removable middle seat in the second row, which no one else has for some reason. And it looks pretty good, too. And CRVs are also very nice. And a new Civic, new Accord. I mean, they're all nice. They're not class-leading anything, and they're kind of boring, but they're nice. Favorite beer, Miller Lite? Yeah, I do quite enjoy Miller Lite. A decent cold storage wallet. There's a lot. You know, I don't know what happened with Ledger, but, you know, I still have them. But there's a lot of other options, even ones on your phone and browser wallets. Even though they're not considered cold wallets, they are self-custody wallets that are very convenient and allows you to safeguard your own crypto because it gives you a private key. So those are all great things. So like Trust Wallet, for example, you know, it's a great one. You have Arculus Wallet, which is kind of like an extension of that with an NFC card. But then you have like MetaMask. You have ROX. ROX Wallet is fantastic. There's a lot of other ones. There's also like someone sent me one, something about a key where it also kind of does that too. There's several hardware wallets, but I haven't played around with them. Trezor, you know, is another company that creates one, and there's other smaller ones too. Have I had a Toyota Prius? No. If I get rich off this bull run, I want Lucid Air. What do you think? Never driven one. They look weird to me, and I think Lucid is going to go bankrupt soon. So by the time the bull run's over, they may be bankrupt already. Is Algorand a dud? No. Now that XRP is not a security, Algorand is probably not a security. So that gives them a fighting chance to recover. But there's just not a whole lot going on right now. Even their biggest DEX closed down, so that's a big deal. So it might take them a while to come back. Let's just put it that way. Just get yourself invested in ISO 2002 to comply. Tokens like XRP, XDC, XM, Algo, for example, is the new standard all banks will move by. Okay, so you think about what you just said. Why banks, okay, and crypto, they're polar opposites. Okay, crypto wants to overthrow banks. Okay, and banks do not like crypto. So why would you want crypto to be embracing a banking standard? It's not like you want to support the banks. Okay, so that doesn't quite compute. It doesn't make sense to me. Who cares? You want crypto to replace the banks because they are better than banks. Okay, so that whole argument like, oh, you got to have your coin be ISO 20022 ready, that's nonsense. Anyways, I think that's it for today. We had quite enough, and I'm tired. I actually went out for a 2-hour bike ride today in like 90-degree weather. It was tough. It was tough. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. You know, we still have to wait another day before the FOMC meeting. Today, WorldCoin came out. It's a big no-no in my book. And you know what? Bitcoin continues to move forward and onwards, and it will only get stronger with time. So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.